Back on the grass today, just a heads up, Kyler is under the weather. Got the holiday bug, so he will not be out there. Ledbetter's going to go to IR, and ready to go to practice today.
Any concern, Kyler, for Kyler throughout the week on Sunday?
No, holiday bug.
Coach, you guys released Marco yesterday.
Yeah.
Just talk about a little bit of that.
Yeah, feel good about the guys in the room. Respect Marco. He handled himself like a pro, but feel good about moving forward.
Any reasoning why you didn't wait till after the season to do it?
No, just, I mean, there's, so many spots, you know what I mean? So to get some guys up and playing and the roster construction of all that, just felt like it was best for the team for this week moving forward.
Nick Sirianni went on WIP today and said he's going to tell you this, but that he wants you to be so uncomfortable that you never want to come back to Philly. Your thoughts?
He already told me. He told me. I think he was driving in. No, you guys know I got nothing but love and respect for all those people there. Obviously, great 2 years from my family and I. You know how tight I am with Nick, but it's like I said, it's compete, and that's a great place to play. It's a hostile environment, you know what I mean? They're on our side for 2 years when I was there, but our guys know we've played in some hostile environments. That's going to be one of them. So we got to do a good job of handling the elements and the noise and those things and operate at a high level.
What kind of reception are you expecting for yourself personally?
I don't expect anything.
Knowing that that was a place that also helped Nick Rallis out, how excited are you for him to go back there too?
Yeah, I mean, he's, we're all our energy and focus is in to try and stop, that offense, which is a really good offense. A lot of really good players, a lot of wild plays, the detail that they coach with, you can see it show up on tape. They're in the hunt to be the 1 seed, the reigning NFC champ for a reason.
Not that they're the same type of quarterback, but going from Fields to Hurts, is there any extra benefit of what you can do to stop a mobile quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, I told him today, the defense, we didn't do a good enough job against Justin, and if we don't do a good enough job against Jalen, he will, threat us. So we gotta execute a lot better than what we did, because Jalen is also a guy that can extend plays. He's extremely accurate on the move. They generate explosives when he's on the move, and then he can also tuck in and run it, and he's a tough tackle. So we got to do a much better job of that, keeping them in the well when we need to keep them in the well, and executing at a high level on defense to give ourselves a chance to win.
You had said earlier in the year, one of the things you look for Greg Dortch is for consistency.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering, as the years progress, have you seen that improvement?
I have, and and I think he's done a much better job of playing different spots for us, which was huge for us. When guys start going in and out of the lineup, you got to be able to play multiple spots typically. So he's obviously a playmaker for us, and he's working on that part of his game, and I've been pleased with it.
Can you go back to before the Super Bowl, if you could, and kind of, did you sort of reflect on your coaching career and leading up to that point, getting to the big game, and just kind of what were some of the thoughts you had after that career, getting to that point?
None. I mean, you guys know how I am. I put everything into what I'm doing at that day. So there's a time for reflection, which is not now.
Coach Buddha told us last week that he'd been on teams in the past that where guys were throwing in the towel, but he didn't sense that at all with this team.
Yeah.
Do you have any sense that anybody's frustrated
No.
up at this point?
No, they were juiced up today. They know they're playing a really good football team, and we got to be on the details and have max effort, be emotionally ready, physically, mentally ready. The leadership in that locker room and who's in there, I have no worry about that.
You guys talked about, is there a way to stop the push on short yardage?
Yeah, no one's really done it. Yeah, we've talked about it. You got to try to defend that play because they're really good at it.
You mentioned the other day being better on run defense with the running backs. It was better in the second half on Sunday. What do you attribute that to?
Playing blocks a little bit better, setting better edges, building a wall a little bit better, fitting where we were supposed to fit, tackling when we're supposed to tackle, getting more than one head on the ball, keeping leverage on the ball and not losing the cup. And our violence was, where it needed to be. it's, you know, it's funny when you ask that. It's the basics of playing football, you know, and that's what it comes down to. It's not some souped-up call. It's not magic. It's playing good, clean, solid football.
What's the balance between wanting to rush a quarterback that can move up the middle, but also trying to contain the edges?
Hard because there's layers to how you rush him, which gives him lanes and things like that. But you got to know, you know, how they set, what their protections are, where there's going to be vertical voids, I call them, how the quarterback likes to move in the pocket. But, you know, hats off. I mean, that's what makes those type of quarterbacks hard to defend, because you can't always account for that, you know. And if, depending on how many you got into the rush, there's open gaps. If you're rushing 4, there's 6 gaps. So there's 2 open gaps somewhere. So you just got to do a good job of, I think, changing the pieces on those guys at times and executing the rush plan. All those guys rushing together. They're not separate entities. They all got to rush a certain way together. So if I'm taking a power and he's taking a speed and he goes under and I don't cover him, he's going to get out. You know what I mean? So I got to know when he's going to go under. I got to be ready to, you know, cover, things like that. So that's why I say when I talk about rush mechanics, I'm talking about however many people we have, the resources we have to the quarterback, they have to play together. You know what I mean? And that's what the really good, you know, rush teams do. And then that's got to be coordinated with the back end, you know. So we got to get on the right people. We got to take away the first look, all those things. So got to disguise, give those guys a tick of time. So that all goes into affecting the quarterback, but it's all 11 guys, not just the guys rushing the quarterback. It's everybody. Good question.
Of using a spy against a guy like Jalen.
You take one out of coverage. That's always a con to me. You know what I mean? And then a lot of times we see on tape where teams try to spy certain guys. They try to spy Jalen, and the spy's free, and they can't run him down. So you also have to be constructed in a way where your spy is athletic enough and fast enough to get the guy down, which is hard to do at times. So you got to be creative certain times, and then you got to change up the pitcher on them, and you got to, you know, devote resources to the quarterback. But when you devote resources to the quarterback, they also got a bunch of dudes out there that you want to devote resources to. So it's a back and forth, and it's a mix. But whatever we're doing, we have to execute at a high level to give ourselves a chance to win.
He's also a big guy too, right?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, strong as a horse. Yeah, he breaks a lot of tackles. I mean, he's very strong. He's hard to bring down, and he's extremely quick. So, you know, there's free runners on the tape at times, and he just makes them miss. So he's who he is for a reason, you know. So we've got a big-time challenge ahead of us.
How much can it lead to issues when you're paying that much attention to the quarterback and what he can do, lead to issues in that running game, and perhaps creating spaces in that defense?
Yeah, there's no doubt. If you know, I always say there's a strength and a stress to each call. And you have to minimize, the strength has to be the strength. And then the stress, you have to minimize the stress if the ball finds that stress. So our guys got to know that and play to those strengths and stresses of each call.
Do you see anything in their defense that is a carryover from what you did, or maybe even like a wrinkle on what you did?
Yeah, I mean, I know they kind of changed coordinators here the last 3 games. Coach Patricia took over, so he's implementing some different things. But I know this, when I turn on the tape, they got really good players. They play really hard, and they get after the quarterback pretty good. And they got coverage players. They play good against the run. It's a good defense.
Is there a difference in what Matt's doing compared to what the guy formed?
Yeah, you see wrinkles. You know what I mean? You can't overhaul everything, but you definitely see some different wrinkles, yeah.
This one's a little outside the box. Do you pay any more attention, being a head coach now, to the hirings and I guess most recently the firings of other head coaches in the NFL?
Not right now, no.